I've realized I've realized also in my journey. I've realized also in my journey ukuthi, as I was saying ukuthi I've realized ukuthi izangoma nezinyanga ziyathanda ukumkhonza uNkulunkulu, kodwa kube abantu abaclaim ukuthi bayamaza uNkulunkulu abangaba accept abantu abayizangoma nabayinyanga. It's the same principle. Kusho ukuthi kahle kahle when Abraham was negotiating for uLord during the time of ilentole, during the time of destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, kahle kahle uAbraham wayekhuluma namadlozi. In other words, uAbraham naye likhona idlozi akhulume nalo. Yeah, man. Welcome back to Noise Properties, the podcast. And we are broadcasting live. This is kaNyanywa. Ngizathane umfokaza nebelo onqolo mahlamba hlale etsheni umalana khaya ugqabani bokuze ngadle amadlulu bendle ngoba nibahle kakhulu impela unzathana unzabe edolo awuswanye madodana umahlamba hlale etsheni lo madodana. We are coming back. We are back on Noise Properties, the podcast. And as I've said, we are broadcasting live from Johannesburg. So today I come back. I'm coming back with a rather difficult, not really difficult, just that we are making it seem difficult. This is another topic. We are continuing from Idlozi Cresto. We are still on Idlozi Cresto. We're still on Idlozi Cresto. Just a recap, a small recap. We discussed last time few things that I think are worth that I thought or still think they are worth discussing. Previously I spoke about Uguti. I didn't really dwell on what exactly it is, but I explained according to me what Idlozi might be. Today I'm just gonna get to the actual definition of what Idlozi might be. Remember there are different ideas from different people, and you'll also obviously take an idea or an assumption or a theory, whatever they call it, that really works for you. So what I'm talking about here is what works for me, and I've always said it, especially on the previous episode. I work on different biases, and my bias is the assumption that the Bible is true. And still on that also, I also did say last time, it's actually a bad idea. It's actually a bad idea to run away from Idlozi. So what I've done, Mina, is I've already explained that I've decided, even though I accepted religion, even though I accepted Christ, even though I've accepted God from the Bible, I still want to embrace. I still want to embrace and accept ubukhona bedlozi nokusebenza kwani kwedlozi. You'd find even also in the Bible, especially John the Revelator would say things like then I saw, or things like the Spirit spoke unto me. Remember the verse, I was in the Spirit in the day of the Lord. So it means still God accepts spirits, just that Tina, when we come to Africa, it seems like there is a notion that all the spirits are good, but the spirit that comes from Africa is evil. I would like to challenge that, and I would like to accept spiritual Africa as not evil. There are evil people in the African spirituality, but African spirituality in and of itself might not necessarily be evil. My producer Pege Pans Lapa. Look at the camera, dude. Oh, what's wrong with you? Yes, I was saying in and of itself, African spirituality is not necessarily evil. Yes, in everything, even the ones that we have been taught that they are good, they are always evil people there. So today I want to use two people. They're still there. I want to use two references. I want to start by using Ubaba T.A Mbhele kaNcanywa. Right. So he had an interview. I think based on Ukhozi, right? Where he's explaining about Tuguti liyini. So he has an idea of Idlozi that I would like to align myself with, right? And also on the other side, I'm going to use Ulona. I'm going to use Ubabu Joshua Maponga on some ideas that he shares that I would like to think, or that I would like to align myself with, right? So what I wanted to say also, I've realized also in my journey, ukuthi, as I was saying, ukuthi I've realized ukuthi izangoma nezinyanga ziyathanda ukumkhonza uNkulunkulu, kodwa kube abantu abaclaim ukuthi bayamaza uNkulunkulu abangaba accept abantu abayizangoma nabayinyanga. It's the same principle that also happens on the Bible. I've seen also there's a recurrent theme on the Bible where the disciples, the ones that we thought they should be the one accepting people from God, we've also seen a recurrent theme when they are the ones who are actually pushing people away from Christ. You'll see there was a time where there was a blind man who was calling, Son of Man, help me. It's actually the disciples who, if I'm not mistaken, I think, yeah, if it was actually the disciples who were what's the word, who were telling him to keep quiet because he's making noise. There's a woman who was also crying, "Oh Lord, help me, for my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." It's the disciples who said, "Keep this woman quiet." It's also that there's also another verse, Matthew chapter 19, verses 13 to 14. There are unabantu who brought little children to Jesus, that Jesus should pray, that Jesus should pray for them. But okay, this is not supposed to be playing. There's also a verse, as I was saying, Matthew chapter 19, where people were actually trying to bring their children. They are trying to bring their children to Jesus for him to pray for them, right? You find good, it's also actually the disciples who were the ones telling telling people to not come to Jesus. You'd find Matthew chapter 19, verses 13 to 14. There were children that were brought unto Jesus, that he should put hands on them and pray. And the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus said, "Suffer not the little children and forbid them not to come unto me." You'd find that kunabantu abaningi izangoma nezinyanga that I've met that really actually love uNkulunkulu, that would actually want to go to church, but have a challenge, ne? Have a challenge yokuthi people in church do not really accept them. Not necessarily accepting what they are doing, but accept them as human beings. You'd find I've also seen Dr. Scottain, saying something similar to that. They wouldn't go to church. I'm paraphrasing, I might misquote him, but they wouldn't go to church because of Christians. Actually, you'd find also there's a quote by I think Mahatma Gandhi. Christianity would actually be good if it was not for Christians, right? So you'll find there are people who would find that Christianity or religion is actually a good thing, just that the people who are there are making it as if we are not accepted by them. You'll see also, as I was saying, Unkulunkulu wants us to come to him, but sometimes it's the disciples or the people who are claiming to know God, that are not accepting people to come to God. So as I was saying, I've listened to two interviews that are actually very interesting for me, especially coming from Africans, especially coming from people that we might not necessarily think that they would speak in line with the Bible without using the Bible itself, right? So there's an interview, as I said, the interview by Ubaba interview on Ukhozi. It was actually really old, on Ukhozi, the interviewer ubabu T.A Mbhele kaNcanywa. So this is what he says on that interview.
Akini abebephila la emhlabeni badlula kulomhlaba. Ubabiza ukuthi bayini? Amadlozi.
This is the thing that Ulona T.A Mbhele that is saying. There is a notion of when you ask umuntu ukuthi abantu bagini abangasekho sibabiza ngokuthi bayini, and this lady is saying uthini?
Babiza ukuthi bayini?
This lady is saying
babiza ukuthi bayini?
Everyone wants to accept or think that abantu abangasekho babizwa ngani ngamadlozi, but ulona ubabu T.A Mbhele says this about amadlozi.
Akusona isiminya.
Uthi akusona isiminya, ngamanye amazwi abantu abangasekho abanjani asisho ukuthi bayini ba amadlozi. Ubaba uMbhele bachaza ngale ndlela lena.
Okay? Akulona iqiniso le.
Akulona iqiniso, kusho yena, it's his idea that I would like to, what's the word, that I would like to accept for myself.
Right? Umuntu ongasekho azange abe lidlo.
Uthi umuntu ongasekho akazange abe yini, abe yidlozi.
Umuntu ongasekho azange abe lidlozi. Ngolimi lwethu isingoni. Ngolimi lwethu isingoni.
Uthi ngolimi lwethu isingoni. In other words, ngolimi lwethu isingoni. Even isingoni, I would actually most of the times think of it as isiZulu. Ne? Esizulwini we have amagama esiwabiza ukuthi imifakela. Ngamanye amazwi ngesingisi bathi yini, bathi it's borrowed words. Ngamanye amazwi amagama abengekho esizulwini ngaphambi kokuthi kufike ondlebe ezikhanya ilanga. Amagama afana nabo fastela besingenalo angazi besebenzisa lephi igama at that time, igama elithi ikhishi, igama elithi ikhishi, igama elisuka esingisini elithi kitchen. Kahle before kufika ondlebe ezikhanya ilanga, kwelengabade, before kufika ondlebe ezikhanya ilanga kwelikaphunga nomageba, before kufika ondlebe ezikhanya ilanga lase-Afrika, besingalibizi thina njengamaZulu besingalibizi igama elithi ikhishi, besebenzisa igama elithi ichibi. So kunamagama amaningi ke abengekho esizulwini ngaphambi kokuthi kufike olonto leyo, kufike obani ondlebe ezikhanya ilanga. Kufanele igama leli lithi khona siqala siqhubeke la simuzwa ukuthi uthini ubabu T.A Mbhele.
Azange abe lidlo. Ukulalela nje ngolimi lwethu isingoni. Wathi nasingaba ngoni. Okusho ukuthi singayisho thina into ehamba kude nemvelo futhi nomveli nqa. Sasingoni. Okay. Manje uma ukhuluma ngedlozi, kubantu bakhuluma bathi umuntu ongasekho. Kunencwajana engiyibhalile
as he's explaining, you'll find ukuthi, and I also agree that into esikhulume ngayo le ukuthi masikhuluma ngedlozi sikhuluma ngomuntu ongasekho, but indlela ichaza ngayo nje sekuchazile ubaba T.A Mbhele ukuthi idlozi akusiyena umuntu osengasekho. Now he explains ukuthi kahle liyini idlozi nangamazwi akhe.
Idlozi yiloku esikubiza ngokuthi namhlanje, lokho esikubiza ukuthi ingilosi.
This actually makes a lot of sense. This actually makes a lot of sense for me as someone who has experienced, as someone who has experienced the indaba yedlozi, as someone who has been told ukuthi hey kufanele uyothusa. Now when ilento le, when I was told ukuthi you must do this, you must do that, and also as I told you before ukuthi even if you decide to become a Christian, the visions don't go away. But now my T.A Mbhele idlozi ilokhu esikubiza ngokuthi yini, i-angel. Actually makes a lot of sense, and also actually what's the word? It actually put a lot of things in place, especially for me when I experienced in indaba yedlozi nendaba yani nendaba yokuthwasa. And also you'd find ukuthi okay, I lost my point. You also find ukuthi I forgot my point. Let me start with this first before I remember my point.
Yiloku esikubiza ngokuthi namhlanje, lokho esikubiza ukuthi ingilosi. Oh, idlozi le.
uthi ilona dlozi lelo lokho sikubiza ngokuthi yini ingelosi. Now I remember my point. My point was kule magama emfakela you'd find ukuthi negama elithi ingelosi besingenalo thina besingenalo thina besingenalo thina esizulwini ngaphambi kokuthi kufike obani ondlebe zikhanyela. Igama lithi ingelosi ile gama elisuka esiNgisini elithi yini angel. Sibiza ngani ngokuthi thina sibiza ngokuthi yini ingelosi. Now mayifile ngama elithi ingelosi lisuka esiNgisini igama elithi angel lona lisuka kuphi ke? When you read and study the etymology and the origin of the word in angel, you find ukuthi in different languages it comes as different words, right? So here in front of me, if you can just go and search on etym, as if you're writing etymology, search on etym online, you'd find ukuthi igama elithi angel is coming from the Greek word angelos, which is direct translation of the word messenger esiNgisini. Then when you direct translate it to isiZulu, you'd find ukuthi ilento esibiza ngokuthi yini isithunywa. So makuthiwa wena uyathwasa or usebenzisa isithunywa, which makes a lot of sense for me when makuthiwa nesithunywa, isithunywa sizokunikeza ini iBhayibheli. And luckily for me isithunywa masikhuluma kimi sikunikeza iBhayibheli. As I said before, a lot of people have the Bible. As I said before, a lot of people have the Bible phambi kwabo, but they're not taking the time to actually read the Bible. And I was lucky enough ukuthi isithunywa sami would actually say, yes, there is this. Now open it and find out what it is, right? So the word angel is the Greek word angelos, translated to English as messenger, and that translated to isiZulu as isithunywa. In other words, makuthiwa unesithunywa abaqamba manga ngawe, unesithunywa ngempela. And mangabe unesithunywa unalento nayo, you also find ukuthi if you read the Bible, you actually find ukuthi it's gonna lead you to what we call in spiritual gifts. Let's go back to ubaba T.A Mbhele.
Idlozi iloku esikubiza ngokuthi namhlanje lokho esikubiza ukuthi ingilosi.
Oh,
lona dlozi le lokho kuthiwa ngolimi lwesilungu ama-angels.
As I did say, lokuthiwa ngolimi lesiNgisi yini ama-angel. So mawukhuluma nedlozi, as I have actually experienced that, mawukhuluma nedlozi, you're actually speaking, or you're actually experiencing, or you're actually having a conversation nani nengelosi. And you'd find in the Bible a lot of people bakhulumile nani namadlozi bese eBhayibhelini. Now that you understand now the definition of idlozi as an angel, you'll also find ukuthi kusho ukuthi kahle when Abraham was negotiating for uLord during the time of ilentole, during the time of destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, kahle uAbraham wayekhuluma namadlozi. In other words, uAbraham naye likhona idlozi akhulume nalo. Kodwa, but that now we understand the definition of the Zulu, of not the Zulu definition, but we understand ukuthi ngolimi lani lwethu
isingoni.
Now that you understand ukuthi ngolimi lwethu isingoni igama elithi ini idlozi, actually an angel, you qualify and say ukuthi kahle uAbraham wayekhuluma nani nedlozi. Just that now we know that ukuthi idlozi liyini, it's an angel. Also expanding from there, you'd find ukuthi not necessarily talking about in Idlozi, you'd find ukuthi Joshua Maponga would sort of echo the same sentiments along the same lines. You'd find ukuthi these are the words that he said. He says something like this:
all African, when you pick up the book, by the way, there's a chapter I put there for African names of God in the African space. And when you get to that chapter, you discover that African traditional religions are all monotheistic. Unkulunkulu Umvelinqangi, Mudimo, Ramasedi.
This is what I was saying. Also, this is what I said by the point 80. Actually, izangoma nenyanga, especially those that I've met, right? Ziyafisa ukumkhonza uNkulunkulu. You'd find ukuthi as Maponga is saying ukuthi all African religion, I hope I'm quoting him right, are all monotheistic, meaning bonke banonkulunkulu oyi-one. Abanayo lento yokuthi unabo unkulunkulu abaningi. As he's explaining it, and I also actually agree with what he's saying. Is another thing that he says, pertaining in Dabayani, pertaining in Dabayamadlos.
There's no African religion that teaches Africans to worship their forefathers and their ancestors.
There is no African religion that teaches that we should worship our forefathers and our ancestors. We accept that they exist. See, accept kuti abantu ababephila phambi kwethu bake baba khona, they are ancestors. But now it's wrong. This is me saying it's wrong to say umuntu ongasekho uyidlozi or abantu ababengasekho ba amadlozi. Kahle kahle you'd find ukuthi labo bantu labo babizwa ukuthi yini ithongo. So indaba yethongo manje kuba T.A Mbhele. But for now, let's finish what Maponga was saying.
Who are the sons? There's no African religion that teaches Africans to worship their forefathers and their ancestors. When you understand that our ululations of our African genealogy is not worshiping ancestors, but recognizing those who were here before us, connecting us to the one who made us before we became.
He's saying our African ululations or ukubiza kwethu it's similar to what the Bible always says, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of so and so. It's similar to the same thing. It's actually not it's not worshiping them. It's actually connecting us back to the Creator. Here's what also he says, connecting back to the Creator.
Who are the sons of Ham in your Bible? The sons of Cush, the sons of Adam, the sons of God.
In other words, when you actually calling up on your ancestors, you're not worshiping them, but acknowledging that there were people before us, the people who existed. There are people who existed before us. It's not worshiping them. It's actually accepting that they existed, and also connecting us back to the Creator. Here's the last point that he says.
Then you say in African worships ancestors. There's no African religion. There's no African spirituality that teaches you to worship your forefathers.
In other words, whenever you do whatever you do, or mawuphahla or ukhuluma namalento le, ukhuluma nedlozi lakho empepheni, or mawunembono oyibonayo, yes bafuna sithi, yes thina, especially when you go uthwasa or mangabe ukhuluma namadlozi, you are being taught to say umkhulu, ugogo, ubani, trying to tell you ukuthi lento le qhamuka kuwena ugogo wakho, right? You also find as I've also been quoting these verses, right? Revelations chapter 12. We find it in chapter 12 verses 7 to 9, which is verses 7 and there was war in heaven, right? There was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Now we know what angel is, right? So we know what this is. And the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and the Satan, and which deceived the whole world. Now there was war in heaven. We'd find these guys written to the whole world, and he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. This now divides our angels into two categories. The good angels, which are called angels, the bad angels. Remember, Usatan, when he was heaven, was not called Satan. He was called Lucifer, right? But now when he's cast out, it's called Satan, the devil, that great deceiver. Same thing with our angels. The angels that stick to God, but now when they were cast down to earth, they were called demons, right? So now mangabe sebefika la emhlabeni sesibeka ngolimi lwethu ke manje lesizulu, you'd find ukuthi kunedlozi elihle, angels, nedlozi elibi, demons, esibiza ukuthi amademoni thina kuthina. As I've said, now that we have actually established ukuthi liyini ini idlozi, we've actually said ukuthi idlozi is lento esibiza ukuthi yini ingelosi, which is coming from the English word angels, khulume ngemfakela. And lithi angel is coming from the Greek word, is coming from the Greek word angelos. Angelos, going back to English, is directly translated as messenger. Directly translated back to isiZulu, is actually called isithunywa. So now mawukhuluma nedlozi lakho, kufanele wazi ukuthi mawuphahla uthi thokoza gogo, thokoza ini, kahle kahle awukhulumi nani nomuntu wakini ongasekho, kahle kahle awukhulumi nomkhulu wakho, ukhuluma nengelosi, nesithunywa saNkulunkulu. So from there kahle kahle, then we understand ke ukuthi liyini ke ithongo. Now from there, from the next episode, I want to take you to explaining kahle kahle ukuthi liyini ithongo, yini lento le ehlezi siyibiza ngani ngethongo. Ubaba T.A Mbhele also does explain that. So from the next episode, we'll then explain ke ukuthi liyini ithongo. So information ikunikeza namhlanje, maybe it can be troublesome for you, but I want to end this by reading by reading John 14 othi, let not your hearts be troubled. Ye believe in God, also believe in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go and prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that there I am, ye also shall be with me. So, Bazalane, before we end this episode, I want to end by saying, just because you have received new information, just because the old information is being dissipated, let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God and also believe in the Son of Man. This is not a property, the podcast. Remember, on the next episode, sizokhuluma ke manje ngokuthi liyini ithongo. Just nje a glimpse of that. Ithongo umuntu osebuthongweni, akalona idemoni, but umuntu onjani, olele. If I was qualified, I was gonna say umuntu olinde ukubuya kwaKristu kwesibili, I come and receive you, but we're not there for now. But umuntu onjani, osebuthongweni.
Abantu abangasekho ngolimi lwesinguni kuthiwa amathongo. Abantu abangasekho ngolimi lwesinguni kuthiwa amathongo.
I'll actually take it from there when I come back on the next episode. For now, I want you to let not your hearts be troubled. You've been sitting and chilling with Zanino Shinzatsane, Utani Bongolo Mahla Mahlalechen, Umalana Kai, Ukaban move, Uzingal Nabajulu Bendlela, Goban Bashliga, Kulempela Manje, Masters Supuma Sibam, Besi Kukumbela. I wanna say peace, and we are out. Phumufakathane awusukanyeni madoda. Peace and peace. We are out.